Hi, I'm Edward Giles and this is my Research and Communication Assessment 1 Self-Evaluation PowerPoint. I see myself as a good communicator, especially in the workplace. I've developed my communication skills over the past 4 years working in the wine industry through experience along with a conscious effort to improve my skills. I still think there is plenty of room for me to improve my communication skills. Personal factors, self-concept. I have a high level of self-esteem and confidence in the workplace. I'm proud of what I do. I get a great deal of satisfaction from doing the job properly, and I like to think critically about what I'm doing. I tend to draw conclusions and lessons from experiences in a strong way. Perceptions. Perceptions of people and workplace improve by positive environments. Confidence is a major factor for me for the way I perceive people. If someone is confident, I'm more likely to have a positive perception of them. Having approachable co-workers and superiors has helped me to develop my communication skills a lot in the workplace. Culture. My communication skills have developed a lot working with foreign co-workers and working overseas. I managed to grasp a concept of understanding what it's like to be a foreigner who doesn't understand, and I've learnt the importance of conveying messages clearly and precisely. Non-verbal communication, body language. Body language for me can help me clarify a lot of things, especially with symbols, numbers and basic commands. It can help with breaking down sound barriers or distance barriers. It greatly influences my perception of the way someone's trying to tell me something, whether they have a positive body language or negative body language. And I'm far more inclined to communicate with people who are welcoming. Paralanguage. I found paralanguage to be especially important working in the wine industry, especially when working with foreigners, particularly the tempo, and I found that I had to learn at an early stage to speak a lot slower to foreigners so they could understand through my dialect. I found paralanguage to be especially important when there is volume or noise barriers are present, and it helps me to clarify messages, particularly with language and dialect. Eye contact. Eye contact is a very important active listening skill to me. It was installed for me at a young age that it's particularly unpolite not to make eye contact with someone when you're talking to them. It shows interest and respect and helps build confidence for me and whoever I'm communicating with. And it also improves communication for me. When I'm looking someone in the eye when they're talking to me, I'm far more likely to retain what they have to say. Peer feedback. I got peer feedback from my seller manager at work, Andrew Lazenby. His response was as follows. He thinks I was a good communicator who clearly conveys my ideas, effective at managing people and communicating to a team, but that I need to focus on communicating what I need people to do instead of taking the easy option and doing it myself. The second feedback I got was from my friend Oren Robb, and he said that I'm good at getting my point across, good at listening and actively providing feedback, good at diffusing conflicts through communication and seeing from others' perspectives, and that I can sometimes come across as being overconfident. I think the points my peers made were valid and true. I think people generally perceive me as a good communicator. I think my peers can usually tell I'm making a conscious effort to communicate properly with them, and I believe I'm seen as approachable to my peers. One area I need to focus on is not coming off as being condescending. Examples of interpersonal communication. So the first example is again with a seller manager at my work. There was an interaction between me and Andrew on how to develop a better system for more effectively adding a particular wine additive. I think this represents a shared meaning theory of communication. We had the same objectives from the beginning and we had a very similar concept on how we wanted to do things. We both had a positive perception of each other and each other's knowledge, but we started with a very rough idea of how we wanted to do it. We both had confidence and knowledge in the situation. We used a lot of body language and paralanguage, especially when describing equipment that we may need or showing how something was going to work, and to create an image of what we wanted to achieve. We both took the time to listen and explore each other's ideas instead of just being single-minded about it. And in the end, we were able to come up with a new system and managed to save a lot of time and money by putting it into practice. Being on the same page from the start made the communication process a lot easier for me. My second example of communication in the workplace was I was working as a supervisor over Harvest, and I had an Argentinian co-worker. I had to convey messages every 10 or 15 minutes to the Argentinian worker, but he had a great deal of problem with speaking English, and particularly my dialect. There was a large degree of noise and distance barriers, which made communication even harder, and we had a limited time to convey the messages. So the way we solved this communication issue was I sat down with this Argentinian and another Argentinian who spoke a lot better English, and we translated the basic process of things we needed to do. He had a set job role, and we worked out a series of gestures and hand signals for what needed to be done and what didn't, and we would always have he would confirm with me that he got the message across clearly. The system actually worked really well for us. It was very simple, but so were the messages that needed to be conveyed. Anything that needed to be more complicated, we translated through someone who had a better understanding of English and made sure we were all on the same page. Thank you.